right now. And you are now a co-host. So, and thank you, Jimmy, for reminding me of that. So again, the classes, each class is recorded. At the end of the class, I typically will follow up the presentation with an email to you as another written recap of the session. And then if I have had, by the time I send it out to you all, if I get an email of the link for the recording, I will attach the link to my message and the PDF of the presentations that I provide each evening. If by the time I send the recap of the class along with the PDF of the presentation, if the link is not available, then I will send the link when it does become available to you all. All right, either I will do it or maybe Jamise will do it. Whoever gets it first, we'll sort of send it out. So you all are always covered with the information for each session. All right. So let's go ahead and get it started. Again, I'm Stephen Yates. Tara, you guys can see my name there. Tara and Callan. I'm Stephen Yates, and I'm just a joy to be here once again to provide this overview and to host this course and hopefully provide some guidance on you all building up your business plan. So let's go ahead and get it started. All right. So, let's go ahead and hit here. Make sure you all can see it. It should be uploading now. Okay, there we go. All right. So again, we always say a welcome slide. We always are happy that you're here. And as I mentioned on Monday, at the end of the course, I will tell you that not only we are happy that you have been here during the course, but your job now is to tell others that I'm sure you know others that are seeking or thought about starting their own business. We're looking for you to share your experience with the class with them so that maybe they also can look forward to taking this class where we can welcome them as well. All right, so today is session number 2. This week, as I mentioned to Sonia and the other 2 young ladies that was here on Monday, is that this week is focused on making sure you know why you're in this class, making sure that you know that you actually have a business opportunity and understanding who your customers are, what their problems are, understanding the solutions that they're seeking, not necessarily solutions that you're providing, but having a deeper understanding of what they really, really want, what they're really looking for, and also what revenue potential that you assume or have done some research to determine what revenue opportunities in monetizing your talents, abilities, gifts, and your skill sets. So that's what week 1 is about. So I'm going to recap on Monday information in a moment, but today we're moving forward. We're talking about something that's called the 6 fingers, the 6 fingers model, and moving forward with your business action planning. So we're going to really talk about that. You also see an icon in there of a toolbox. It's called the toolbox, where we're going to have ideas on how you look toward building your business in the future. So we're going to cover the items, the tools that are inside the toolbox, and the 6 fingers is one of those tools. We're just highlighting that a lot more in today's presentation. So what will today's workshop do for you? The purpose of focusing on the 6 fingers is because we want to help you understand the importance of focusing on the organization's direction. Where do you want to go? A big part or question 1 in your homework that you're going to get at the end of the course is, where do you want to go? What is your vision? And your vision not only talks about what you do, but your vision is also going to talk about what you expect in 2 or 3 years as an outcome of all the activities that you do. What do you want the outcome to be? Because ultimately, we're going to be focusing on the little things that get you to the outcome, not focusing on the outcome itself. But today's workshop is helping you understand the importance of organizing the direction that you or organizing direction, or having focus on the direction, the organization's direction, having focus on the organization's direction. Here's our agenda. You will always get an agenda every session. A big part of this week is asking you to be strategic in how you think, asking you to really do some research on what it is that your business is trying to do and accomplish. Understand the industry that you're in and why the industry provides an opportunity for you. So the 6 fingers is about strategic planning for the future. So today we're going to do a homework review, even though the homework, as I mentioned to Sonia and other 2 young ladies that was here, Jerica and Cassandra, the homework that was provided on Monday is not due until Friday. However, the homework that was provided will always have a review on Wednesdays. The homework that we will give to you on Wednesdays is not due until Monday. So you have not only the remaining of the days of the week, but also the weekend to complete the homework that we provide you today. So we're going to review that homework. The homework was called a business canvas, and you'll hear about that in a couple of seconds. We're also going to move forward with reviewing the remaining tool in the toolbox on today. So a part of the review of Monday's session is going to talk about the first 3 tools that we talked about, our values, market matrix, and value chain. But then toward the end of today's presentation, we're going to review the remaining areas of the items in the toolbox. 6 fingers. There is an acronym for a financial 6 finger called SKIGMORE. We're going to talk about the flat organization, step by step, people make the difference and lead the industry. Each one of these have an icon that is a shape of a tool, if you will. And then I'll explain why it's important to you and your business and how you're growing your muscles. Then we're going to do a recap of today's presentation. Then I'm going to talk about the homework more, the homework for tonight. And then we're going to preview Monday's session. All right, so that's what we have in store for today's class. And now, did I have a question before I move forward? Was there a question?
No, you probably heard a ping.
Okay.
With the students coming in. We have Ms. Maka coming in. We have another one coming in as well. I think I'm not sure what the delay was, but Miss Cassandra and also Miss Washington were in the waiting room. So I just asked them to come back. But it's okay. I guess they got hung up in transition, but we do have Miss Amaka who's here as well. So I told you it was going to be filling up. I'm glad.
You're right. It is. And again, I'll come back to Tamaka and ask her as well about her background in a moment. All right.
Thank you.
So the homework that we had assigned on Monday was a business feasibility canvas. And what we asked, and this is going to be the homework that if you were on, some of you all may have been on the email string, even though you may not have made the class. If you wasn't, I'm going to resend it out to those that are new. Jameisa, if you can make sure that I have the email addresses of the new class attendees, that'll be helpful. I'll send out the homework assignment on Monday to everybody as well. And of course, I'll send out the whole presentation or the whole email that I sent out on Monday. But the homework assignment was asking you to review your business feasibility canvas that asks you pretty much information about the business that you want to start. Or for some of you may have already started your business, but maybe not have put together a business plan or maybe not follow through with it. And we asked you not to give a homework response back on everything on this canvas, but just the first 4 areas that you see in red. We wanted you to tell us who your customer is. We wanted you, or who your customers are, if you have multiple different types of customers. We wanted you to tell us from the perspective of that customer, what do they see as their problem? We also wanted you to tell us what you felt the solution that they're seeking. What solution from their perspective? Maybe they're already out there and they're getting a solution, but maybe your solution might be more attractive to them. Nevertheless, your investigation, your research should be able to give us some clues what you think the solution they're seeking is. And then we wanted you to give us a highlight of what revenue opportunities that you think in monetizing your solution would be, either for you or maybe you've done some research and you can say, well, people are looking for diabetic shoes and my diabetic shoe would be better. And here's the typical cost people are buying diabetic shoes. Maybe that can give us a clue of what your revenue potential is. But nevertheless, that was the homework. The purpose of the Canvas, if I was in a classroom with all of you and I was walking around, I would more likely than not hand out a physical form of the Canvas. As you can see, the Canvas have different shapes, squares and rectangles and different length and size and width. The purpose of that is to say, we need you to focus on what's important. Be very specific to answering these questions. We're not looking for 5 or 6, 7 paragraphs when you're answering who's your competition, what's the advantage you have over them, what is the marketing message, what's the benefit, who's your customer. And the reason again is so that you can be very succinct in talking about your business. The reason why we call it a feasibility canvas is because when you do your research, we really want you to feel confident that the business that you're going after is really feasible, that there really is a need out there for the services that you want to provide or the products you want to provide. And you have a lot of confidence in that is feasible. So nevertheless, we're not asking you to turn in an actual copy paste of this form. We're just asking you to, in an email form, you can say, here's my customers, or here are the 2 or 3 customers I'm going after. It might be women. It might be teachers. It might be small business owners. It might be students. And then again, what their problems are, their solution, and then the revenue you're expecting. As an example, during class, we went over an example business. This business was called I Got Your Style by Casey Clayton. She talked about highlighted a review of her research in the shoe industry, and she found the shoe industry was $6 billion in this little subsection of luxury shoe items. Of course, the shoe industry might be $50 billion when you're talking about gym shoes and dress shoes and diabetic shoes and high heel shoes and slippers and so on and so forth. But in the subsection of the shoe industry, the luxury shoe area, her research found there was $6 billion being spent in 2015. And in her research, she found the leading buyers was a particular customer: students, working professionals, and homemakers. She found that these people that are leading the leading buyers as promoting that $6 billion revenue, that their problem was that they wanted to fulfill an emotional need when they're searching luxury shoes. She found that their problem was they want a shoe that was well made, well crafted. And she felt that some folks wanted to dress for a job that they want, not the job that they have, to promote themselves moving forward in their career. But that was the problem that she found in her research. She found that the solution that people were searching for was a well-crafted and a uniquely designed stiletto luxury shoe or boot. That wasn't her research. So she got a bright idea. She also found that they were paying between $300 and $1,200 for these shoes. Her solution was, hey, I'm going to go after students, working professionals, and homemakers as my low-hanging fruit. I might go after other people, but that's my low-hanging fruit because of my research. She found, I'm going to promote in my marketing the fact that these shoes are going to fulfill your emotional need. People are going to love these. Wait until people see you wear these shoes. And she says she's going to make sure that the shoes are well made, well crafted, and uniquely designed. She's going to make sure she sells stilettos and boots because her research found that's what these people who are driving that $6 billion figure is looking for. And because her research said that they are spending between $300 and $1,000 or $1,200, she decided that her average price, some shoes might be $200, some shoes might be $600, but her average stiletto will be about $450. And when she did that, when she started her business, she saw sales of over $5,000 per month. So we asked, hey, Casey Clayton, can you do this feasibility study, Canvas? Can you just tell us who your customers are? Can you just tell us what their problem is? Can you tell us what solutions they're seeking out? And can you tell us a revenue point that you can make or that's an opportunity for you? And that's when she came up with these answers. We asking you to come up with your answers. Who are your customers? What is the problem you feel that they're seeking a solution for? What is your solution to their problem? And what will you think your revenue will be? So we're going to discuss this. I'm going to stop sharing right now. And even though some of you haven't completed that homework assignment and some of this homework assignment is new to you, you still should be able to answer some of these questions. So first, before I have you give me your answer to those questions, let's go ahead and learn something from Callan, from Tara, and forgive me, I'm going to get the names, and Amika. So let's hear about why are you in the business in this class? What is your business or business interest? What is your business and your business interest? And what do you want to get out of this class? So let's go ahead and start with Taylor.
Okay. So of course my name is Tara and I am in this class, one, because my brother told me about it. Two, I've been struggling just trying to get my business off the ground and having faith to continue because I don't know what to do. I don't really have anybody near me that has a business that can help me pursue what I want to do. For my business, I want to have basically rental properties and rental properties and rent out cars. Now to answer your question, who is my main focus? Who am I targeting? Like my customers, people that want to travel a lot. And even if you don't want to travel, just living in luxury, but having an affordable price. Because most of the time when you travel somewhere, you want to live nice, of course. And your first thought, oh, this is nice. But then at the same time, if you don't have the money for it, then there's no purpose. So yeah, I'm focusing on people that like to travel. And even if you don't want to travel, you'll still have a place to stay and feel comfortable and ride around nice, of course. I mean, that kind of answered the solution part too.
Okay.
Focusing on affordability. And so I have already started like renting out cars and everything. I would say my profit was about $1,200 a month. And then I ended up stopping. I haven't started the rental properties yet.
Okay.
So hopefully it could be about $5,000 a month too.
Okay. So essentially you are in the real estate industry and the auto industry because you're looking to rent out cars and rent out space.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I love the fact that you know who you are going after because people who want to spend low but live the laps of luxury, like all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so your marketing can attract their eyeballs by saying something like that, right? And the other good thing is a lot of these hotels or Airbnbs, a lot of folks are doing the same thing because obviously you have a very deep, base of competition.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at how they market already can actually give you some hints on how you might want to market, right?
Absolutely.
So very good. But thank you for being here and thank you for answering the homework question. So we'll have to come back to you. So,
okay, thank you.
All right. So, Kaylin, Did I say that correctly?
That's Callan, like Callan.
Callan. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Trust me.
All right.
All right, Callan.
Okay. Well, I am definitely here today. So I've been in business for maybe 15 years or so, and I've been in my industry over 20. And I'm an insurance agent, so I have an insurance agency, and my goal is to really just reboot my business. I want to kind of I'm in the growth phases at this point, so. Although I've created a business plan, there's things that I'm changing about my business in the next couple of years. And I want to make sure that it's structured properly and I'm making the right steps. So in the future, I will kind of reap those benefits. So that's pretty much why I joined this course through Jamise. And my focus at this point, I cater to personal businesses and commercial businesses, but my goal is to really grow my small to mid-sized businesses. So that's what I'm going to be focusing in on during this course, is how do I do that efficiently and effectively, and what steps I need to take in order to do that properly. So
what problems do you think that these particular customers or potential customers, what are their problems and what are your solutions?
Well, for most small and mid-sized business, insurance is just not something they're sometimes feel like they don't need. They're exposed to maybe litigation or a huge financial loss. So my goal and my solution, of course, is to provide them some type of solution with an insurance product that will protect them if they were to have a financial loss, or the risk that kind of protect the risk that they may have. So that's my goal, is my solution. In regards to revenue, the sky's the limit, but to be realistic, within in this first year or so, or I'll just say first 3 years, I would like to match my personalized business with my commercial business. So I'm assuming if I can do that, probably around 10,000 a month or so.
Very good, very good. And so what I really love about your industry, and I actually have a few good friends who have been in the industry, and they have, one of them was really focusing on like trucks, like over the road trucks and whatnot, is not only ensuring that their problem is risk, exposing to risk, right? The solution a lot of times is just the educating them of the risks and leaving it up to them to determine if they want to stay exposed. And if they don't want to stay exposed, then here are some of the avenues they can go down. But ultimately, the solution is more an education, and then let them say, I can't be exposed like that.
Yeah.
Opposed to, hey, here's the menu of the ways that we can cover you. So a lot of times it's leaving it up to them to say, you know what, I really don't want to be exposed. Well, how can you help me? It's a lot of times that and you probably are doing that, but I know that was one of the kind of the psychological ways of ensuring that the customers ask you, how can you help them after you educate them?
That's correct.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, welcome to the class, and we hope that we can help you design your plan, your strategies to the point where you can make 10,000 and more, because you said the sky's really the limit. All right. Amaka. I hope I said your name right. I'm going to get it right.
It's Amaka. There you go.
Amaka. Okay. Amaka?
Yeah.
Okay, Amaka. Okay. All right. Can you tell us something about you and your business, and also who you think your customers are, their problems, solution, and your revenue opportunities?
Well, the area that I'm focusing it on is the cosmetology industry.
Okay.
I don't have a set, I don't provide services at this time, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. So the goal is to possibly have a salon, but I'm thinking as I was in school, my ideas started to broaden, and simply because I use a lot, you have to use a lot of product, and
Mhm.
you have to have product knowledge. So I kind of said to myself, well, why don't I include products? And then a very long time ago, when my daughter was very, very young, there was something that I came up with, which was a product for babies. That was another thing. And so also, I have an interest in the transportation industry, particularly targeting students. And some, I don't know how I will go about it or how it's even done or if it's even been done, but there are some students that I realize that may not have transportation to get to college, and I'm talking about college students.
Mhm.
And so, this was something that particularly was an experience of mine. Um, some of the HBCUs are rural, like Fort Valley. They're kind of further out, not near the city, where you can get on the MARTA or something like that, and you always have to travel to and fro. And so I was thinking of somehow coming up with a transportation service, a shuttle service to help the students get from one point to the other to get on campus. Um, and, I don't know, there are quite a few schools out there that are HBCU that may be like Fort Valley State, somewhere out there, not near the city, that kind of thing. And so that was one of my ideas as well.
Well, what I will say is both of those are great ideas. We would want you to focus on one during the class. Both of them are very ideal. I know that my daughter, she recently graduated from UGA in December, and she lived kind of sort of off campus. Her and five of her friends rented a home. I think technically the home was technically on campus, even though it was a private home. And she had a car, which she could have driven to school, but she would have to pay for the pass to park in certain areas, right? And so they actually had a shuttle bus right down the street from the row of homes on her block. I don't know if that shuttle bus was related to I don't know if it was a private organization that got a contract with UGA, or if it was a UGA thing, UGA bus, because I don't recall seeing it. But you are right. The cost of parking on campuses are really high. And a lot of times you only can park during certain times. You can't like have your car overnight there. Uh, and so building relationships with the HBCUs, because a lot of times they don't have particularly like in Atlanta, there's not a lot of parking space for all of the students. And so a lot of times people got to, martyr in, or, you know, what do you call it? Different people, jump into the same car, together, or they, maybe do Uber. So I think that you have something. Do you have to set up a contract with the schools to do that? Or maybe that would be ideal so that the parents of these students can buy a membership of some sort, and make sure that you have.
You have to do a contract. I'm pretty sure you have to contract with these schools.
And so then you would end up having to talk about the insurance, right? Right. So you have an attendee who can help you with the insurance of all of your shuttle buses and whatnot. You might end up hiring people. So, both of these ideas, talk about the salon business or the beauty business. I love the fact that you said, hey, not only do I want to have a service, but I also want to have a product. We tell people the term, at least the way I like to use it, organically growing. How do I organically grow? If I have a service business, at some point I want to expand my business to offer a product. And that is ways that you can organically grow, that maybe in some cases don't nobody want to come in here and get any beauty treatment, but maybe they want to buy a gift for someone they love, right? So now you can expand the target audience or your target customer to not necessarily someone who wants to get a beauty treatment, but someone who want to buy a product for their significant other or their mother or, you know, or somebody, right? And so it's great for you to look at the future opportunities in that space. So yes, I think you have a really tough, well, let's say a good problem where you have two viable areas of business opportunities. You just kind of say the purpose of today's presentation is talking about focus. I can't allow all these opportunities to come up in my head about this other business to distract me building this plan. Because once I build this business plan, it doesn't matter how many other businesses I build, I now know how to do it. And it's not going to be intimidating, which is what the whole course is about, teaching you a way to build your business plan in a less intimidating way. So I love your business focuses, but what we want you to do is flip a coin or do something to focus on one. But doing your conversations with us, if you do any consultations, sure, you can consultate on any business you want. But the purpose of the class, when we're actually talking, going back and forth, we want to stay as focused on one area so we can give you good advice on that. Okay.
Well, the reason I mentioned that because the first lady that spoke, and I was going to ask about that because I know it sounds more than one, but even after she spoke, you assessed it and said, oh, you have real estate and then you have, I think something else. She had something, I don't know. There was something else.
Yeah, car business. I was telling her both industries that she has an interest in.
So those are two. So that was why I mentioned mine, like the way I do.
You know, I'm glad you did. So here's what my mention, and I failed to mention it as well. And a part of why I did not actually change it, because it sounds like even while she on one hand has a real estate industry and she has a auto industry, they both are hospitality type of presence, right? So for those that people are traveling, you will see if you want to buy an airline ticket on Delta Airlines, after you buy your ticket, it's going to say, do you need to rent a car? Do you need a hotel? Why? Because they're trying to cover the whole hospitality space. And it sounds like that's what she's trying to do as well, even though there's two different industries, right? But to your point, or to the reason why I brought it out to decide which one, it's really for her as well. Decide which one you want to do. Or if you're saying, hey, I'm in the hospitality industry, that's my focus, because of the people I'm talking to are actually travelers that have a need. And I want to make sure that I'm a one-stop shop. How am I different than the Airbnb people? That you not only can rent my Airbnb, but you also rent my car too. It's already going to be at the Airbnb. So when you get there, drive the car off. Because if you're driving in, you're going to Uber to my Airbnb, I got a car waiting for you if you want it. Otherwise, leave the car in the garage, right? So she can figure that out. And that's the reason why I didn't really harp too much on it, because my mind was thinking hospitality. But I'm glad you brought it up. And again, everybody here, you know, and I think I mentioned on Monday, everybody here is a serial entrepreneur at the end of the day. We got multiple interests. I got 3 businesses that I'm running, and they only started with one. Had no idea that I was going to have the other businesses that I'm running. We all are serial entrepreneurs, but we got to get our business plan and the know-how for one first. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for bringing both of your interests. All right. So tell us, I'm sure, tell us again about who your customers. So focus on one of them now. Let's for an example, at least for now. What are your customers? What is their problem? And what revenue? Where's your solution to your revenue?
Well, the customers, I'll focus on the transportation. The customers are the students, the college students that need transportation. Some people can't get to, or they may be able to get to college, but you're carrying a lot of luggage, you're carrying a lot of bags, you don't know how far it is from where you're coming from, and your first time there. So I think that shuttle service especially for, and the target is, like I said, HBCU, some students who may not be able to afford a car at the time, Ubering all the time. So the goal is for a very affordable fee to be able to move back and forth with this shuttle or transportation, service, whatever you want to call it. I haven't researched it to the extent of which I would, know the revenue or anything like that. I just know that it is a real problem here. It is a real problem with our students. They do need transportation, and my goal is to find out how to get it to them.
Great. And so and I'm glad you mentioned the fact that you haven't really done a deep dive yet on what the true opportunity is, but you do know that there is a need. So finding out the financial feasibility is going to be really important for you. I will also say this, and this is for everyone, and you're going to hear me throughout the course. When we're talking about a solution that people are seeking, it's sometimes not necessarily just the transportation in this example. What they're really seeking out is a safe and secure way to get on campus. They want safety, they want security. And a lot of times, in some cases, the customer is not even the student itself. The customer might be the parent. The customer is who's paying for it, right? The customer also might be who's signing the contract that they can get on this bus, right? So that might be the student, whoever is paying, because you might say, well, you know what? While the student might be the end user, they're getting on my transportation, I have to sell the parent on why this solution is the safest. Instead of them getting in an Uber, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Your student, your son or your daughter might get an Uber. But you know what? I have an article here, how many students came up missing. And their last ping on their cell phone was in an Uber. So I want to make sure that my parents know we want to make sure that all of my buses are going to have safety belts. They're going to have video. You can click on a video and see it at whatever time if you remember who's riding the bus and so on. Because why? I want them to understand that what I'm selling is not transportation per se. I'm selling safety. I'm selling security. I'm selling making sure they get where they need to get on time. That's my market. What really they buy, right? If I want to put a picture of my family on the wall, I have to maybe drill a nail in the wall. I don't have a drill, so I got to go buy a drill. I might have to buy a nail. I got the picture. What am I really buying a drill for? What I'm really doing is I want my living room to look great with this picture of my family on the wall. So I'm really buying is decorations. Even though I'm buying a drill, the drill is the means to an end. The end is I want to walk into my living room and see my family and smile. So I'm going to market, don't you want to see your family? Buy this drill so you can put this, so you can put your family on the wall, your picture, of your family, or this, of this artwork on the wall. So I want us all to drill down on what really the solution people are looking for. All right, very good. All right, customer, problem, the solution, and the revenue. Cassandra, welcome back. I heard you had a little time trying to get in. I'm glad you made it in. You can, again, by telling us something about your business, you'll be telling those that are new a little bit about your business. So can you tell us a little bit about who your customers are? Obviously mention your business, who your customers are.
Sure.
What problem from their perspective they have, what solutions that you feel would be attractive to them, and then what revenue opportunities do you think you have?
Okay. The name of my company is Co-Create Solutions, which is a talent placement firm dedicated to increasing diversity and talent and providing career transition support for the military. I forgot to mention that the other night. That's very important. So military to civilian transitioning is also what I'm focused on. I believe that hiring is inclusive. And so I just want to make sure we're not just checking off the box, but providing a strategic advantage by providing diverse candidate slates to leaders or hiring managers. I do have a portfolio of services. I was listening to you closely when you were saying, focus on one thing. My portfolio will include two sides, talent placement and career services, under the umbrella of Co-Create Solutions. My customers are companies that are seeking to improve diversity. in all talent across the board, not just leadership roles, but junior, mid-career types of roles as well, all the way up to the executive level. Organizations undergoing workforce reductions that need outplacement services, as well as military professionals transitioning to civilian careers who need career coaching, transition support, resume translation, and placement support. So those would be my customers. The problem is a lack of diversity, making sure that, again, that leaders have diverse talent slates or candidate slates rather. Many companies struggle to build inclusive teams due to limited access to underrepresented candidates. Limited outplacement services. I understand, like right now, the Department of Energy aren't providing any outplacement services for those folks that they are releasing. So employees that are affected by layoffs often receive generic types of ineffective career transition support. So that's what Co-Create is here to do. And last but not least, another problem is veterans and transitioning military personnel often find it challenging to translate their skills into corporate roles or any other role within different industries. So helping them transition and find the right place is also a problem that's happening across the board. The revenue, I just launched September 2024. I am working with a customer right now. So anywhere between 20 and 35% of a VP plus level base salary is what I would gain, and 20% and below for junior to mid-year. Total, a base salary rather. Outplacement services packages, I have not researched that yet, as well as the military transition coaching fees. I haven't done that yet either. So still lots of research I need to do as far as revenue. I'm just familiar with the placement side because that's what I used to do, and I know what that is, but I'm not sure about anything else. But I'm looking to gain a lot from this class. I feel like you can help me strategically and tactically understand what I need to do next with Co-Create Solutions. So I appreciate Jamise introducing me to this session.
Well, and thank you for your overview to give those that are new a little bit back information about your business. I will say this, as a veteran who came out of the military, there was a thick book, a transition book on all the things that we should review. A lot of us just grabbed the book because they gave it to us, but never really looked through it, right? There's a transition, and this is just speaking from the veteran standpoint because I have an idea for you. But that would be neat for you to grab that book just to review what the military, not the VA, because they're two different things, right?
Right.
Military to military, and the VA is the VA, right? That's
right.
That thing in the middle is them transitioning from military to life to veteran to civilian life. But it would be neat for you to see, if you don't already, I'm not sure if you're a veteran or not, if you're not familiar with it, on the things that they go through, because you actually possibly, as another opportunity, can get a contract with local reserve bases or whatever to help people transition out, because there may be some things in that book that are either not needed now because of the evolution of our current society, or things that can add to it, or you can supplement it. The second idea I'm going to have for you is this. Me having my MBA in HR and working corporate America and doing a lot of training, and a big thing is, how do people who are already in corporate America transition from their current role to another role inside the company, that higher relationship? So I would love to see a Co-Create department in all these corporations. Tag that name, Co-Create, so they can have, so that you're saying when you come and meet with you, when then you maybe have a contract with Pepsi-Cola, right? And they're gonna hire you to help people who are currently in Pepsi-Cola to learn how to prepare themselves to transition to another role. Why? Because Pepsi-Cola, or they say Coca-Cola, I'm using Pepsi, I'm in Atlanta. Coca-Cola don't want to lose that asset that they've been investing in, right? They would rather for them to say, I'm purposely going to develop you so that you can be prepared for bigger and better things within our family, opposed to investing all this into you, investing all this leadership training in you, and then you leave us and take that experience to someone else. And by you having a co-create department, that department is purposefully to help you figure out where do you want to go within this business, right? And so that will say, look, I now need to have a bunch of mini-me's. So now you're hiring a bunch of leaders that have gotten downsized, but they know leadership and they know the leadership development. So now you're giving them these contracts to help these different corporations. So I'm just thinking out loud that you have, and you probably already thought of this already, you know, obviously you can't do everything at one time. But I just love the fact that I hate the fact of what's going on in our government. But anytime there's a problem and people are hair's on fire, that means there's an opportunity somewhere, and you're taking advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm actually talking with a company now about an internal mobility program that I built when I was at NCR, and consulting with them around what you just described. So yeah, I think it's something I should definitely focus on.
When I was with the security company, a part of from the regional standpoint, I was the regional director. I had to go in and talk with supervisors on 3 or 4 different supervisory type of programs and training. And one of them was, where do you want to go next? Want to be your supervisor now? Do you want to be over a particular contract? Do you want to go into move into regional office? Do you want to be in corporate, right? Where do you want to go? You're locally. You was a supervisor. You was a security guard. Now you're a supervisor over a certain number of security guards. Do you want to be over a contract, right? And so trying to figure out how do we want to career progress them or career path them was a big thing. And a lot of people wasn't doing that in these corporations. So that is an opportunity for you, okay? Career
That's great feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see here, Sonia. Tell us about your customer and your what their problems are and the solutions that they're looking for, and maybe any revenue opportunity.
Okay, so my customer is job seekers, state, local, federal agencies, and businesses. The problem is people with disabilities, in terms of them being in the workforce, is very low. 22.7% of them are in the workforce. And those that don't live with disabilities or acknowledge they live with disabilities, I think we all live with something. That's just my opinion. That percentage is 65.5%, right? So the problem is people with disabilities relying on SSI and SSDI, limited money. And the solution is to help them work towards financial independence. The revenue part, I haven't really figured that out on a monthly basis, but I can say my revenue increased by about 50-something% from one year to the next. I've been in business a while in name, since 2019, but just doing little things like doing resumes and cover letters for people and filling out job applications for people and charging them for that. But now I have a contract, and I'm a federal contractor with the Social Security Administration, where I help people on SSI and SSDI go to work. My first year, I earned, my gross was about $11,000, and this past year it was $22,000. So annually, but not monthly like everyone else been able to give monthly. I don't have that. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. So to add on to what you said regarding your main target audience are those folks that may have a social society says a disability, right? And either your target audience may be them specifically, might be their parents, if they are youth, or if they have a guardian of some sort. It may even be the state or a governmental agency that might be the contract that's one paying you to support these folks, right? And a lot of times I like to look even deeper than the fact that they maybe have a limited income. as a problem. Sometimes I think their problem might be the fact that they have an ability. They're not disabled or disability. They have an ability. Our job is to help them be able to leverage their ability to the greatest opportunity that they can get, right? And because their ability might be different than somebody else's ability, that might limit them. So we want to educate them that they do have an ability, and we're going to help you find where your ability can be shown.
Okay. And to give you a little more insight, I use the word disability because that's what society calls it, but I coined them as living that we all have different abilities. So I don't like to say disabilities. I like to say individuals with different abilities. And I don't,
And so what I would suggest that you do, whatever you coin, use that and then explain why you're using it, right?
Okay.
Because everybody, I wouldn't even say people have a disability, have a different ability. Everybody got different ability. I have a different ability than you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Everybody got something. And Jamise might not even know. I may have mentioned this before, but I'm legally blind. Right? Now you're, oh, woe is me. No, I have an ability though. I can talk, right? I know some stuff, right? Even though this right eye, I can't see these two fingers right now with this right eye. I can see something, a little gray or whatever. That's all right. Everybody got something. Right?
Yeah. We're all on that spectrum somewhere.
So don't call me disabled. Just call me able. I just got to figure out where my ability can be best shown.
Okay.
And that's what you're doing. And that empathy is important, because it's not when you, hey, you know what? I got this Steve Yates guy. He's blind, but he still can write. He can speak. Let him be a speak. Let him be a host or whatever. Right? Let him use his ability. And when you see me out there doing my thing, yeah, he might be blind in one eye, at least right now, but he is making money. He is doing what he loves, and he's doing what his abilities can do. That make you feel good. It don't matter what money you got from the agency.
Right.
The fact that you help this person leverage his or her ability is gold. And that's what you want to talk about. That's when you get a customer. I don't want to talk to the agency and say, all these disabled people in here, I want to help them. No, all these people that have a different ability than you and I have those abilities shown. And I got a passion to help them.
Right.
That's what you
and you know what? You have a valid point. I'm always out helping people try to get opportunity. I'm always meeting companies and individuals and finding out what they're doing, if they could use them. And today I was at Martyr at an event, suppliers, some kind of event, just trying to meet people. And I ran across this lady and I said, well, I help individuals with disabilities go to work. And she immediately said, well, since they have a disability, then they won't be able to do a certain job. So you're right. I gotta come up with a word other than the word disability, because there's a negative connotation with the word disability. So,
and let me tell you, the moment that anybody who is an organization that you're talking to, or even a parent, or even people themselves, the moment they say, well, you know, the people that we work with have a disability, you stop them in their track. You say disability, we all have a ability.
Okay.
That lets them know that you are a fierce advocate.
Okay.
People. I'm not a fierce advocate for the disabled. I'm a fierce advocate for people, because we all have an ability. We just want to make sure that we know what our abilities are, and we put people in an area where they can shine. And that's what I'm here to do. And when you stop them, you got it. When you stop them, I like her. I like Sonia. Let me go ahead and let me figure out what she got going on, right? Because they're seeing your empathy and they're seeing your passion. And that is how you monetize your gift, your tags. All right. I love it. Thank you. All right. And the final person before we get back into the session is Jerica. Who is your customer? What problems do they have? What solutions they are attracted to? And what revenue opportunities that you feel that you have?
Yes, so good evening, everybody. I'm hoping to find some additional, because I know this seems pretty straightforward, but I'm pretty sure there's a bigger problem in itself. But I'm currently working on a business in transportation regarding box trucks. And the customer, my ultimate customer is the government, if I'm being completely honest. I would love to do like government contracts with the government, whatever that may look like. So there definitely is more research to be done. I would assume that their problem is, getting goods from point A to point B. And my business would offer that solution. And then the revenue, I'm not sure again about the revenue point, but yeah, looking forward to getting the answers to all of those questions.
So one of the opportunities that you're going to be looking at, I think, is not only just having a box truck and talking about getting goods from one place to another, but how you do it, maybe the type of box trucks you have. Maybe you're going to have box trucks that doesn't run on fuel, that you have, you're loving the environment, and you're going to have environment sensitive trucks, right? Because there are going to be certain customers, whether it be the government or not, that are going to have an attraction to the type of box trucks, right, that you're going to be using. Maybe you're going to focus on a particular area within the government, right? Maybe it's an administration area where they have to take boxes of all these files and put them into storage somewhere, right? If it's not on electronic, maybe electronic stuff. But it is trying to figure out that sweet spot if it's in the government. Now, the other thing about the government, since that's an area, because I love people want to work for the government, the problem that you, in your research, you'll find is, number one, and Jameis will tell you this, being with the SBA, we're in SBA Women's Business Center, which is a quasi-governmental organization, is that they are notorious slow payers, right, Jameis? Notorious slow payers. The good thing is a lot of times is based on the amount of money that you want to contract. Sometimes you don't have to go through a bid process. I'm telling you things that you may already know, and some folks on the call may already know who done business with the government or know people who have. Sometimes, I'm gonna give an example. Let's say there is an opportunity to do something for IRS, local IRS, to move something from here to there, and they're looking at $5,000 or fewer. But if there's a $10,000 bid, you got to bid on it. But if anything under $10,000, there's no bid. You can be awarded the contract locally. So now building relationships with these individual people that are buyers is the route to go. Finding out who they are, sending them letters, sending them, happy Tuesday messages, and just want to find out if you guys have any needs, whatever, right? But building relationships, if you're trying to get 5 or 10 contracts a week, they're all under $10,000. Now you can build your business based on a platform that I don't have to put in a bid. I want direct asset sent to me. And right, so there's ways to do that. But if you're pinpointing the areas that you want to work with, or different areas in the government you want to work with, that's the way they're doing it. Otherwise, you might be putting yourself out, which is fine in some cases, but putting yourself out to bid with people who actually have had government contracts, and they have a big, long experience with them, and may even have relationships where they may be a little bit more in line to get it. I'm not saying not to do that because you want to start getting experience putting in bids, but I want to make sure that you're starting to focus on what differentiates you from others out there. And a part of this class is going to help you think through those things, because we don't always have the answer, but we're helping you brainstorm to find a good fit for you today. That fit is going to be different tomorrow. All right?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. I think I covered everybody. Did I miss anybody? Anybody who has not spoken on their business? I think I got to cover everybody. Okay.
Yep, I think you did. And I wanted to share, Coach, if I can.
Sure.
I know this has come up. We try to collaborate extensively with the SBA offices, provide coaching around certifications and contracts. And I do have, and I will look for it. I didn't know that this was going to come up, but the SBA is actually sponsoring a networking event. You have to register. It's called Conversations with Contracting Officers, Eliminating Barriers to Federal Opportunities, which is happening on Thursday, April the 10th. I will send this flyer from my contact with the area office here in Atlanta so you all can decide whether you want to go. And this is where the relationship piece comes into place. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wouldn't have thought about it. I think we might pipe it through our network, but it's really, as we think about who we're trying to target, it's serious serial entrepreneurs or serial bosspreneurs that are really trying to do this and to represent us in terms of being out there and connecting. So I will send this to you, Coach. And if you don't mind, send it to the team, because there is the sign up. It's free, but the SBA is hosting this, and we want to support what they're doing to connect the business owners with contract opportunities. So I will send this right now. So thank you for bringing that forward.
You're welcome. And since you mentioned the SBA, the Small Business Administration, for all of you all who are not that familiar with how the SBA runs, the SBA have partners in the community, and Greater West Works is one of the partners labeled under the SBA Women's Business Center, SBA WBC. But they also have other organizations called Small Business Development Centers, SBDCs, the SBA-SBDC. They also have something called SCORE. And each one of these organizations, they're all partnered with the SBA, but they have a little bit different target market. So the Women's Business Center typically targets micro businesses, those businesses that are smaller than small businesses. They have 5 or fewer employees. The SBDCs, typically small business development centers, they're small businesses. They can have 15 employees making $20 million. And then SCORE, a lot of times to deal with those are looking to put together like franchises. You know, you want to open up a McDonald's or something like that. So I brought that up just to say that the SBDC in Georgia Tech, a lot of times they really specializes in government contracting information. So in addition to working with us, you can also contact the SBDC at Georgia Tech and ask them about some of the events they may have that's talking about government contracting. Okay, so we all are brothers and sisters. They're all helping to give you knowledge on how to move forward. Okay, so and that's for everybody who will have an interest in government contracting at some point. The last thing I'm going to say about this is if you have a family member that is a veteran, that sometimes is an easier route to getting a government contract. But you have to be really careful because you don't want that person to take your business. So one-on-one in contract and consulting, talking with myself, if you bring it up, I'll kind of tell you how I've worked with people in supporting them and trying to get a government contract and how a lot of people do it as well, whether it's a family member or a friend or whatever. All right. Okay. Moving on. That's a lot to go through. So let's see if we can go ahead and hit it now. All right. So that was the homework. I mentioned again on Monday that there is something called the toolbox, looking in the future, how you're going to build your business muscles. There are things in the toolbox I want you all to be able to understand. One of them is called the 6 fingers, which we're about to go into. But we went into and talked about our values. And just as a quick recap, we want to make sure that the values that you have for your business is linked to the values that your customers expect, right? Some of you all have gone to Chick-fil-A, right? Maybe all of us, right? For whatever reason, we love Chick-fil-A. But every Chick-fil-A seemed to have a cookie-cutter people. Like everybody seemed to be the same people because they're coming out, they're smiling, they're happy. And it seems that their values in making sure that the customer service is top-notch is a part of their value system. You don't see McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's coming outside taking your money and taking your order in the rain or shine. But you will see that out of Chick-fil-A. Why? You do see Chick-fil-A closing on Sundays. I don't care what kind of money they could have made on Sundays, but they closing. Why? They value giving their employees a day off to worship or put their feet up in the sun. Whatever they want to do, they value their employees. And we know it. And I'm here talking about Chick-fil-A and they're not paying me. Why? Because I value what they value. And a lot of you all do. How many people are going to be talking about your business and you're not paying them? And talking about your business because of what they felt about what you value. whether you're educating people, whether you have empathy and how you relate to them, how you're talking to them, to your customers, they can feel that value system. Well, we want to make sure that a part of your toolbox, and we're going to talk a little bit more value in a minute, a part of that is you understand the strategic benefit of showcasing your values, not in words, not in a big billboard, but how they are treated when they are in front of you and dealing with you. We also talked about the market matrix. And essentially, I was saying that you don't want to have one customer type. You want to have multiple customers types. If something happening in the environment, such as the pandemic, you don't want to set yourself up that one customer type you can't get money from, because you had a restaurant, nobody can come to your restaurant now, and you don't have a drive-through where they can still get food from you, or you don't have a way that people can get their food delivered. You're one trick business, and you don't have any other types of customers or any other type of services you can offer. So having a market matrix saying that, you know what, if I'm on a security business, I have customers in the gated community that I can put security guards in. I have customers in the high rises I can put CCTVs in. I have customers, they're celebrities, I can give them one-on-one, executive security services with them. I might even have logistic train offices or train locations, bus locations, cabs that have security guards. All right, I have multiple types of customers that need the same type of service, but for different reasons in some cases. What is your market matrix? How many different types of customers do you have? Do you know why they need you? Do you know if their problem is different than the other problems, but the solution is the same? And then we talked about the value chain. How do I relate to that customer and ensuring that their feedback and the process of their processing their needs is all done differently? What's the value proposition for each one of them? And so we just talked about that. None of that was homework, but that's just as we're building your business muscles, these are some of the things as a CEO and the leader of your business, we have to think through, thinking strategically. So the next items in the toolbox, six fingers, flat organization, step by step, you make the difference and lead the industry. We're going to go ahead and go through now. The 6 fingers, the first 3 of the 6 fingers will be the homework for this evening. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I just talked about that. These were the slides I should have thumbed through as I was talking about the recap. Okay, so here's the 6 fingers. And that is, you can see the icon there with the 6 fingers up. And actually have a toolbox with all these little icons, and I would pass around the room. But a lot of times we're looking at visual images that help us actually get the idea out of what we're trying to talk about. A lot of us are visual learners, and when you can feel and touch it, or you have something that represents an idea, it helps you understand it more clearly. And so the 6 fingers have each finger has an idea that helps you understand and build your business. And the reason why, again, that we have something called the 6 fingers is so that you can focus on what is important right now, today, so that you can have the business tomorrow. So a part of it is making sure that we can have clarity of direction of where our business wants to go. Clarity of organization. How do I want to build this business, and what type of assets, people, places, things I need for a organization in the future? And most importantly, what measurements do I need to have so that I can look at milestones? I can create milestones to see, are we pacing at the right pace? Are we moving or not? Otherwise, if we don't have any measurements, it's like riding a bicycle with your chain slip. You don't know where you're going. You don't know if you progressed or degressed. And so the 6 fingers help you with focus. And you can see here, it says you can follow many things, but decisions make the difference. What does that mean? Is that if I have a measurement, if I have clear the direction, no matter if I find in my measurement we haven't moved far, I now have to make a decision. Is the thing that we were doing not working? And if it wasn't working, now the decision is to change so that we can start moving forward. So ultimately, you are the CEO and the leader of your business. And the number one goal, number one responsibility each and every one of us have is that we have to make a decision. We cannot analyze and get paralyzed. We have to figure, this is our situation. What is brainstorm on the options that we have? And now let's select an option. I don't know where it's going to go, but I made a decision. Let's see where that's going to take us. We have to be able to make the decision. Just as business itself, you have to focus. So again, the reason why the 6 fingers, as I mentioned earlier, our ability to focus on what matters today. And the last thing is focus on factors that generates results, not just the result we're seeking. But what are those small things that we need to do to move? A part of the reason why you're in this class right now is that you're focusing on what matters, and that is building a structure, building a plan. Not just having a plan, but building it, learning these little small things. That is what the factors that you're focusing on. Whether we know it or not, I'm just acknowledging this is what you really are doing. So here are the 6 fingers. Finger number 1 is, what is your vision for this business? Because we have to set up a measurement to create milestones so that we attain the measurement. You want to go 12 inches? Well, we need to check the milestone at 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches. And once we get to 9 inches, are we trending to the point where we will get to that 12 inch at the time frame that you want to get there? But if I don't have the 12 inches set out, I am now riding a bicycle or throwing darts without having a target. So understanding the vision and creating that vision statement, which is what we're going to do in a moment. Mission. What is the mission of your business? The mission and the vision is 2 distinct things, 2 different things. What are the values of your business? It's a little bit different than we talked about earlier, but you have to have a value of what the business reputation, what you want it to have. Not telling someone who you are, but letting them feel who you are and going out and telling someone else, here's my feedback about dealing with that business. Here's what they believe in. Here's what I learned from them. And you hope that you and those resources, people that might be employees of your business one day, they all can make every business, every customer opportunity, or customer engagement, feel your values. It's hard. It's even hard coming up with it because you got so many things you want your business to be. But we have to be able to focus on at least 5 of them, and we'll get to them in a moment. So as you can see, bold and underline, those 3 areas are going to be your homework. And we're going to explain to you and give you a template on how to create your statement for each one. The last 3 are significantly important, but we're not going to have you do any homework on that because without having the top 3, we can't create the last 3. But objectives are important because we need to be able to focus on the things that are in our control right now. And I want to talk about what objectives are, even though it's not going to be a homework assignment. But it's important that we limit how many objectives we can work on at one time. Once we achieve an objective, we're going to bring in another one that we have waiting in the wings to be put into our focus. Strategies are important because our strategies are linked to our objectives. And we're going to tell you about that in a moment. But the most important thing between the vision, where we want to go, is the action plan. That's what we call the golden thumb. What are the activities that we need to do personally that's going to put all this stuff in play? So we get to it. Let's go ahead and talk about vision. So we need to have a vision statement that's more internal than external. I'm not showing this vision statement to my customers. I'm not putting this particular vision statement. Of course, we love to have a vision statement for our customers so they know what type of business we seek to be. But this vision statement is internal. It's internal for you and it's internal for your employees. They need to know where you are trying to take this business internally, right? If you looked at Microsoft, if you looked at Apple, if you looked at, all these corporations, they all have a board. Even Greater Wealth Works have a board. You're not going to know what the board is discussing in terms of where they want to go with the organization. It's all internal. They have a vision of where they want Apple to go in the next 3 to 5 years. Greater Wealth Works have a vision of where they want this organization in supporting all of their clients, where they want to go in the next 2 to 3 years. You need to have a vision of where you want your business to be in the next 2 to 3 years, whether you're still by yourself or with your family members or with you got employees. You need to know in the next 2 to 3 years. 4 or 5 years is too far. It's too much. And a great example of that is just, I'm going to keep bringing up the pandemic from time to time, because who the heck thought we would ever be in that type of situation? If I had a 5-year plan and I got into the pandemic, that whole 5-year plan is going to be gone to the trash. I might be able to work my way in it if I had a 2-year vision, because the pandemic was 2 years. So we need to make sure that we are succinct and understand the value of creating a vision that's short-term and long-term. And the longest term is 3 years, in my opinion. But what is that vision statement? How can I make it really simplistic in terms of where we want to be in the next 3 years? Whether it be dealing with how many customers we have, how many customer engagements, how many locations we have, or how much revenue. All those are numbers that we can create a measurement out of. Even if I said I want to have 200 or 300 unduplicated clients by 2027, even if I said that, I can extrapolate a revenue number from that. I can say, okay, I want to have 200 unduplicated clients. Well, how much do I want my average client to pay us? Oh, $200. All right, I want our average client to pay us $200 as an average amount. I'm just going to multiply that $200 times 200. That's how much I want that's how much I want revenue at a minimum. Now, I know that normal client might come back and patronize us. I'm talking about unduplicated clients. How many brand new clients I want to have, and what's the average cost? So I can just take that number, or I can say, well, at the end of 2027, I want our business from 2025, all the revenue plus all the revenue from 2026, plus all the revenue through December 2027. I want us to make $200,000. So when 2026 comes, I can say, for the last 2 years, how much have we made? What are we trending? Will we meet our goal of $200,000 in the next 12 months? If we're not, we have to make a decision, because that's our number one duty. Are we not doing what we need to do, or do we need to change something? Or, you know what? We actually going to make the $200,000 by mid 2027. We won't even have to get to December, because we're trending so great. We now can make the decision to create a new vision for the next 3 years, because we're trending so well. But without that measurement, we're throwing a dart in the dark. So here's the template we're asking for you all to leverage, just to be simplistic. This is going to be the homework for you to fill out this template. And it says, what it's going to essentially is asking you what is measured, what is your business, where is your business, what is your product, what is the time frame that you want this vision to be accomplished, and who is your target. It answers all those questions in this little template. It says, within the next blank years, grow blank company into a successful location, wherever the location is going to be. And it says, we are this type of company, and here's our target audience. We're providing this type of product to this particular type of target audience. And here's the measurement. We want annual sales of such and such. Or it could be, we want to have X number of unduplicated clients. Or it could be, we want 3 locations by. No matter what the measurement is, we can find a way in asking questions how to extrapolate a revenue figure. So let's use, I'm going to use my company's called Heroes International, but I'm just going to use these numbers are fictitious, obviously. I'm just going to fill out the blanks. Within the next 3 years, grow Heroes International into a successful international import-export firm. What do? Provide goods and some services To who's our target audience? To business customers, not individuals. With an accrual, meaning I'm adding 2024, 2025, and 2026 together with an accrual of $210,000 by 2026. If I did this a couple years ago in an example. That will be my vision internally. So now I know, hey, 2025, where are we? Are we at 150,000? Okay, well, we got to get to 2010 by the end of 2026. Are we moving in the pace that we can meet that? If we're moving faster, then we can actually, as a group, as a company, make some decisions on the next 2 years on how we're going to grow. Or do we need to expand our offering and so on and so forth? If we have $50,000 in 2025 and our goal is 210,000 within the next 18 months or so, then we got to make some really hard choices. We got to make some hard decisions on what the heck are we doing? Not necessarily to move the goal post back to 100,000. It's to make some decisions, and we will land where we're going to land. But at least I know I can make some decisions, some different decisions now. So the question is, what's your vision? Can you fill out this template? Even though it's very simplistic, can you think through and not grab a number out of a cloud or a target or a measurement out of the cloud? Can you actually get a measurement and then explain it? We feel that as this business right now being brand new, we want to accrue $75,000 by the end of 2027. And here's the reason why I got that number. Can you be able to feel comfortable enough, even if we don't know if these numbers are going to be good or not. We don't know. But can you explain your rationale for coming up with your number? Because that's what I'll be asking when I see the homework. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I'm going to say, well, tell me about that number. Why is that number important to you? Finger number 2, mission. So the mission statement essentially describes why your business exists. It's a lot dealing with your empathy, right? You have a heart for people who need to get a job and they don't know how to transition from where they are to where they want to go. Or maybe they don't even know where they want to go and you want to help them. Maybe they need resume writing. Maybe they have an ability that people can't see and people call it a disability. Maybe people want to travel and they really want to have a car and a home where they can actually do one-stop shop and it's cheaper. It's a better deal for them and they live in a laps of luxury. But what is your mission going to say? So that ensure that every customer experience, they experience your mission. The mission is out the vision of where you want to go in the future. The mission is what you do every single day. So it's why your business exists from the customer's point of view. So I would always say this, and Jamise will remember in most classes, I would say, hey, most of you all understand or heard of a company called Federal Express. But do you believe there was a time there was no Federal Express? There was no FedEx. Well, how did FedEx come to existence? Well, they came to existence in this example where somebody was disgruntled. Somebody's hair was on fire, just like people's hair is on fire now. And when there's an environment where hair is on fire, that means there's an opportunity somewhere. So someone says, you know what? I went to the post office. And my grandmother left her glasses here, and she's back in Michigan, and I need to get her today is Monday. I need to overnight her glasses there. She needs to get her glasses on Tuesday. So I go to the post office, and I pay my $15 to have them overnighted. And I tell grandma, you're going to get your glasses on Tuesday. But when Tuesday comes, guess what? She didn't get her glasses. And now I'm upset because I'm calling post office. Here's the number. Where's the glasses? Well, I'm sorry. It should get there on Wednesday. Wednesday come, no glasses. Grandma don't get the glasses. So now I'm really upset. So I go to the post office and say, hey, I want money back, so on and so forth. They say, we're sorry. Your glasses should get there tomorrow, and we'll give you your money back tomorrow. On Thursday, the glasses are there. I paid for them to get there on Tuesday. They didn't get there until Thursday. I got my $15 back, but I'm hot because my grandma been walking in the wall. She don't have her glasses, right? So FedEx says too many people are experiencing that. Let us guarantee, if it absolutely positively had to be there overnight, FedEx. Remember hearing that? Some of us in old school, that was their advertisement. When it absolutely positively had to be there overnight, FedEx. As a matter of fact, they grew their mission so great that when we talk about overnighting something, we say, hey, why don't you just FedEx it? We might go to the post office where we're still saying FedEx it. We might go to UPS. We're still saying, just go FedEx it. FedEx is the name of a company. It is not an activity, but we treat it as one because their mission has been inundated in our mind. We know exactly what they do, every customer experience. So when you ask, what is FedEx mission? Overnight. It can be said in one word, overnight. So I would ask people who have worked for businesses and may still work for businesses. And typically, if you were in front of me, but we were actually together, I would ask you. And I would have like a $20 bill or something in my pocket. And I would say, whatever's in my pocket, you can have if you can answer this one question and answer it verbatim. And that question is, if you're working for a company, what's the mission of the company you're working for right now? Can you tell me verbatim that mission of that company? And 99.9%, I'll come home with that $20 in my pocket. Because one of you all are thinking about it right now. If you're working for a different company, what's the mission of the doggone company I'm working for? And some of you are probably smiling because you probably can't say it verbatim. The reason why is we don't know if we're actually meeting the mission of our companies because we don't know what the mission is. Well, you can't be that way. When you're creating a mission of your company, you cannot, when someone says, what is your mission of your company? What do? You cannot pull out a postcard a cheat card and read your mission off your card. You have to know why you exist. You have to know what the customers want, that the solution that you're providing. So the homework is for you to describe the mission of your business using 15 words or less. If you come up with 20 words, 25 words, I don't care. But the idea is try to be very succinct in the mission of your business. The more wordy you are, the more it's going to be convoluted. You're really not going to be able to clearly state why you exist. What is the mission of your business? That's finger number 2. Finger number 3, homework. What 3 to 5 value words, not a sentence, not a paragraph, just words. I'll ask you later on why that's important when we do the homework, when we do the review. What are the 3, 4, or 5? Not 2, not 6. What are the 3 to 5 values you want your business to adopt? And so when someone leaves experiencing you, they can say, hey, that company has integrity. That company was really helpful. That company educated us. That company was vigilant. What are the 3 to 5 values you really want your reputation to be? We may want to have 25 things that we want our company, very positive things, and that might happen. But what focus vision, what focus items that you really want to make sure that you and your team focus on? In this example, I mentioned before, I'll keep bringing up the security company. We came up with 3 values: integrity, vigilance, and helpfulness. Values that not only the company valued, but the company felt their clients would find a value proposition in. Being a security company, they want to make sure that not only do they have integrity, but their clients understand that integrity is job number 1. We want to make sure that we're securing your bank, that the money that came in the bank today is going to be the same money that's going to be in tomorrow. That we do things not because we're being honest, because it's the right thing to do, and we do the right thing even when no one is looking. We want to make sure that we're vigilant. We're watching people that come and go. That we're not on our phones, we're not looking down, we're not smiling, we're not talking on the phone. That we're vigilant and we're smiling because we also want to be helpful. When people come and walk around, we're going to say, hey, we're not stopping you and walking and trailing you. We want to say, are you looking for an elevator? Are you looking for the bathroom? Do you know where you want to go? We want to be an extension of the company that we work for. So then customers that come in think that we actually are the business. Well, really, we are a secondary company. We're working for the company, but they think that we are Coca-Cola. They think we are CNN, even though they walk in and we're Securitas, or we're Pinkerton, or we're Yates Security. Think about Chick-fil-A, as I mentioned before. They have a cultural reputation, and they want to benefit the customers and the employees in their values. So the homework is for you to talk about your 3 to 5 values. You might say, well, we value education, we value performance, we value being on time, we value ensuring that the customer find that we're helpful. What are your values? So that is going to be your homework. Not a sentence, not a paragraph, just 3, 4, or 5 words. And then I'll ask you, even if your homework, I might send an email to you. I think those great values. Why is this important to you? Or I might just wait until Monday when we talk about it. That's okay. Here's your value. Anybody want to tell us what your values are and why they're your values, why that is important to you? There's no right or wrong. It's what you value. So that's the homework. Your vision statement, we're going to send you a template. Your mission statement for you to tell us, again, your 15 words or less, or again, if it's more than 15 words, it's fine. But you get the idea to keep it as succinct as possible. And then your 3 to 5 value statements. So that is 6 fingers in the toolbox. Or at least, well, the first 3 of the 6 fingers. Finger number 4 talks about your objectives. This is not homework, but it's important because when we're looking at building our business, we have to look at what the objectives are. And again, I said this on Monday, so this is a little bit of faith. It's a little bit of a spiritual comment I'm about to make. So please bear with me for those that may not, are not very spiritual, but just I look at the 6 fingers. I want to go back here. I look at the 6 fingers as faith and works. The good book says faith without works is dead. Faith without works. We can have faith in something that this door is going to open up. If I don't turn the knob, it may not open up. If I don't do an action item. That's how I look at the 6 fingers. We have faith that we can achieve this vision in the next 2 to 3 years. We have faith that if we do these particular solutions, that our customers are going to like it and it's going to be fulfilling their problem, a solution to their problem. We have faith that in the values that we put up and we promote, it's going to be something that is a value proposition for our customers and they're going to like it. We have faith in all those things. It's just something we believe. But if we don't put some work in, we're not going to do our mission. If we don't put some work in, we're not going to reach a certain area measurement in our vision. If we don't put our work in, no one's going to know the values that connect to their values. So we have to look at our objectives. That's the work. Strategies is the work. Action plan is the work. And when I'm meeting with my consultants, when I'm doing my consultation with companies that I'm working with, whether it be in the United States or outside the United States, we start off with what objective did we come up with? Are we working on objective number 5, objective number 6, objective number 2? What are we working on today? How did the strategies that we came up with, how did it work out? What's the status? Okay, let's work on some action plan. So we're working on 4, 5, and 6 99% of the time because we've already determined what our vision, mission, and values are for the company. So every customer connection typically is dealing with these 4, 5, and 6 because that's the action stuff. That's the work. So let's describe them. What I have them doing, again, this is not homework, so we're not looking for you to do this yet. But the objectives are typically 6 to 8 sentences or objective things that we want to have done. And each and every one of them has a measurement. What are the 6 to 8 items that are objectives or goals that must be achieved within the next 2 to 6 months? Otherwise, the business is not going to get lifted off the ground, or it's not going to expand, or whatever you're trying to make happen. As an example, one objective might be we must have an online presence. Just saying that without a measurement does nothing for us. But we need to have the online presence by April 1st. That's telling us it doesn't mean it's going to get done. It's just saying when it needs to get done. And there may be a reason why it needs to be done by April 1st. Another one might be, another objective, we must make $175,000 of revenue. Not today, but by January 1st of 2026. We need to be, whatever we need to do by January, all the steps and all the stuff that we need to be we're doing right now, we need to get ourselves in position that by January 1st, 2026, we're making $175,000 a year. Another one might be, we must have $500 a week in book sales. Let's say we were the bookstore and we just opened up or whatever. And we're not selling $500 worth of books a week because we just opened up. But by December 1st, 2025, we need to be at $500 a week. That's an objective. We don't know the strategies and action plan on how we're going to make that happen yet, but that's what we're laying out. And each one of these, we have to have a reason on why we're doing it, why that's important, why that date is important. The last one, we must have promotional strategies by January 1st. We must have promotional strategies by January 1st, 2026. What is our marketing strategy? That might be an important objective. So, and again, we're talking about 6 to 8 objectives, not 9, not 5. We figure 6 is a sweet spot. You don't want to go minimum under 6. We can all multitask and work on, and these objectives are not necessarily priority. I can do work on the $500 book sales without working on online presence. We're working on things based on the data that we want to have these achieved. So the top 6 to 8 doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. We're just saying these are the top 8 or top 6 that we want to work on, because there may be 20 other objectives that we listed when we brainstorm. And once I get down to 7, I might want to bring another objective we found important to start working on to get the 6, get up to 8 again. So since the objectives are just something we laid out, something we need to go as a goal, it doesn't achieve itself. How do they get achieved? Well, they get achieved by finger number 5, by promoting strategies that we think is going to help achieve that objective. We don't know if it's going to work or not, but we have to brainstorm on certain things that we need to do, or strategic things that we need to get done in order to go towards certain objectives. So we say we should have 2 to 3 proposed activities or 2 to 3 strategies to help achieve each objective. So if I have 8 objectives, each one of them should have at least 2 strategies or 3, and maybe even more. That's going to help us achieve it. Once again, this is not homework. This is something after the class ends, after the course ends, we're going to be working on our six fingers. At least the 4, 5, and 6 start working with that. But I want to let you know, this is how we build our business muscles, and how we make sure that our business grows is by this strategy, the 6-finger business model. So as an example, if our objective is to have an online presence by September 1st, along the way, we may have to determine what domain name. I might say one of the strategies is that we got to get a domain name, because without that domain name, there cannot be an online presence, right? So we need to have a domain name by June. Maybe we might, if we're not going to do it yourself, we might need to hire or interview a website developer. The website developer may not be the website writer. That might be someone to say, here are the different pages we can develop for your website. We're not the ones who are going to put the information in the pages. That might be a website writer of some sort. But this is an example of having 2 or 3 strategies that's going to help us get that objective of having online presence completed. Finger number 6, action plan, the golden thumb. Without this, none of this matters. Without us having some action that we have decided at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to call or I'm going to go online and find out what domain name is available. Without having that activity of determining if the domain name that I'm thinking through is available, if I don't do that activity, the goal is not going to get accomplished. So what are the main objectives required now? What strategies will I put in place now to help achieve the objectives? What are the action activities required to implement the strategies? What are the things that I have to do or my team have to do to get the strategies activated? And we're hoping, because it's just proposed strategies, we're hoping that they do help achieve the objective. So if I have to buy a domain name by May 15th, maybe I have to interview a website content writer by June 15th, if that's one of my strategies. My activity, my action plan is to get up and call or interview someone by a certain date so that we can actually have the domain the domain up and running. So what I would work with my clients is, here are the objectives that we came up with, or you come up with. Here's a nice little template. What are the strategies with each one of these objectives? What are the action items that we've come up with, or do we need to come up with? By what date do we want to go and do a temperature check on what's going on? Do we have any status? Why do we do this? Because we know we want to make sure that the mission is completed. Every single day we're working on our mission to achieve the problems of our clients. And we know that if we put these action items in play, we're walking toward the vision of where the business needs to be in the next 2 to 3 years. And it's all because of our values. It's all because of our empathy. All because of our tags, our talents, our abilities, our gifts, and our skill sets that I mentioned on Monday. Now I'll mention again. So once again, I might have a template like this where I have my vision, my mission, my values on the top. I might have this working document where I got the objectives I'm working on today, and the strategies and the action plan, and the status. And again, these activities, these objectives that we put together, the top 6 to 8, there's none of them are hierarchy than the other. It's just which ones we are working on today. So we want you to be able to understand this is about testing and measuring what you need to be doing for your business. Success comes with auditing our activities. Are we doing what we need to do to make this business go and grow, to get where we need to go? So making sure that even in your vision that you have a measurement. In all of your objectives, there is a measurement so that we can do temperature checks and looking at milestones and how we're doing. What's our productivity? We can certainly use these objectives to come creating a 90-day plan if we wanted to. Now, again, none of this is homework, but I'm just saying the things that we could do in working and growing your business. What are the 90-day, what are the objectives that we want to have completed in the next 90 days? It still can be 6 to 8. And once again, our vision, our mission, and our values, they only are completed and realized, because that's all faith. It's only realized by creating the important objectives for our business, and then creating the strategies that help us achieve those objectives. And then most important, creating action plan, work that we need to do. Faith without works is what? And with those action plans, we're hoping it helps us create the type of business and grow the type of business that we need. As we look to expand our business, it all starts all over again. We may end up having a whole brand new vision. We may end up expanding our mission because we have different customers now. And it all starts all over again. Right? So that's a six fingers business model. You all will get a copy of this tonight. I have about 9 more minutes. Maybe give me about a few more minutes after 8, and we'll be done with going over the other toolbox items. So while there is a 6-finger model that I just went over, there's another 6 fingers that I'm going to talk about on another date. But that's financial fingers. We want to make sure that you all have a great embracing the financial numbers that will come in the growth of your business. And what are the important numbers that we should be emphasizing? So there are 6 numbers, 6 areas that need to be mentioned, that need to be measured, financial goals. There are, and it's broken up into this particular acronym, SCIGMOR. And the SCIGMOR means new sales. So the S means for sales. I need to measure my new sales. The next one is net change. What is the net change from month to month? And why did we have this number of sales in January and this number of sales in February? What was the net change? Was it positive? Was it negative? We need to measure that. Invoicing is the I. How many invoices are we providing on a daily basis, right? When you go to Burger King and go and order or go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks and you order your item and they give you a receipt, that's an invoice. They're saying, here's what you ordered, give us the money for this coffee, right? How many invoices do Starbucks want to do daily? And how many did they do today versus yesterday or versus tomorrow? They need to measure that. You all need to measure how many invoices you're giving out as well. So that's the idea. The next item, GM, it means gross margin, right? We want to make sure we have high gross margin. So if I'm selling a chair at $100, I might have bought that chair for $20. So if I sell it for $100, I made $80. But if time is rough and people are not buying this chair, been in the window for 3 months, I might have to reduce the amount from $100 down to $80. I still bought the chair for $20. So now if I sell it for $80, I only made $60 now instead of $80. So I want my gross margins high and not low. So we have to measure what our gross margins are. And then the last 2 is overhead and receivables. Overhead is your expenses. What are our expenses from month to month or annually? We can control, some cases we can control that, but we have to measure it so we can make some decisions on what we need to do to reduce our expenses. And then our last one is revenue. We need to make sure our revenues are high, but we have to measure them. So again, there's a financial 6 fingers that I'm going to talk about again later on, but that's just a highlight that these are important to you. And while we're not going to have you talk about that in your business plan or when we do your market day, we want to make sure that in this business course, you have an understanding that your financial numbers are something that does not have to be intimidating, but it's something you can clearly understand. And as you're building your business muscles, it's going to be something that you want to measure over time. So that's again, financial six fingers: net new sales, net change, invoicing, gross margin, overhead, and receivables. We'll talk about that again more in depth on another date. Okay. All right. So another tool in the toolbox is called flat organization. Again, all this is about looking at your business in the future, right? And the reason why we have this tool is because sometimes, you're looking at big corporations, you got so many layers between the CEO and the customer. Is the customer getting what they need? And how many layers are there in terms of the communication? And so understanding that even if you have a director of sales, a director of marketing, a director of the internet, internet, but HR, you want to make sure that it's flat, that you being the CEO, leader of your company, that everyone is getting the same information from you. And they are dispersing the information for the betterment of your customer. So I'm not going to go through all the information here on these bullets because I'm short on time, but you will all get this particular presentation and you can read through those on why it's important for you to have a flat organization. It is so that you can build an organization so that the customer ultimately is the one benefiting from clear communication. So the next tool in the toolbox is looking at how you grow your business. And we call this step-by-step. Right now, majority, if not all of you all are on step 1, or you're about to take your step 1. That means you are actually learning how to carve out what your new business is going to look like. What is your objectives? What are your vision for your business? What is the problem that you're solving? What's the solution, the menu of solutions that you're going to have? You're building that in your first step. And you're going to make a few mistakes, or you're going to make a few things that, later on you're going to wish you did something differently, but that's okay. You are in step one. Step two is simply now running your business and trying to run it as effectively as you can. You want to understand the details of your business, understand the flow of your customers, understand how to sell, when to sell, where to sell, how to increase your sales by a certain percentage, what's going on in the environment. But that's on step two. You're understanding the people. Step three, now you're starting to refine. You know your business a little bit more. You know your customers a little bit more. Now you're starting to refine and develop specializations of your services. Understand the roles that you want your people to fulfill. You're growing your people. You're growing your leadership. And you're making sure your customers are well taken care of. That's in step three. The final step in this idea is now harvesting the results of all of your efforts. Now, hopefully, you're growing. The business is in this position where it can organically grow, where in the example I mentioned earlier, where you might be selling a product or you're selling a service. Now you say, you know what? We want to sell a product. We want to add, we got a salon and we're doing hair, or we're doing makeup, or we're doing, cutting people's beard or whatever it might be. Now we're actually selling hair products. Now we're selling makeup, and we're selling, videos on how to apply your. We're selling something, and we're expanding. Maybe we're expanding our business and adding new customers. If we do that, we're back to step one again. We have a whole new business. So now we got to make some mistakes because, we got to grow this new business we have. That's why it's called step by step. You get to the fourth step. You're at a point where you can expand your business. You go all the way back to step one again, because now you got to understand what this new business we created. But that's an idea of where you want to be, how you want to look at your step one right now. We got two more items here. The next one is people make the difference. And, I mentioned earlier that my background is in HR. Right, my business background, I just love people. I love making sure that people are put in position, if I have the ability to do it, put in position to be the best version that they can be in working in an organization or building their business. Because we have to understand that we're working with our customers, and we have to understand what their needs are, what their problem is, right? So the icon there is a person, and each area, each color-coded area means something. The first colored area is where the head is. It means understanding your business, understanding your employees, and most importantly, understanding your customers' needs. Not the need of the business, but the need of the customer. And then the next area is called commitment. And why is commitment in right under the head? It's because that's where your heart is. You have a duty, and you have a passion, and you have a joy for what you are trying to accomplish. You are a hero that people are looking for in the solution that you have. So you have to be committed to that. And that's where your heart is, because you make a difference in how you relate your business to your customers, how you relate your values, your value proposition to your customers. The next area is called keep it simple, and that's in your gut, right? Sometimes you guys, they always say, well, I got a gut, my gut telling me to do X, Y, and Z. Well, you know what? A lot of times our gut is right. Our gut is right. And it's typically telling us to keep it simple. Let's not overcomplicate this stuff. Don't overcomplicate the homework. Let's not overcomplicate building our business plan, the different sections we're going to come up with. Let's not overcomplicate what I want to do in the business. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it focused. Let's listen to our gut. And the last area is called examples. And it's where the legs are, because we want to walk and march and be an example, not only to ourselves and our family members in building our business. We want to be an example to our competitors and those in our industry. We ultimately want to lead the industry, which is the next area I'm going to go into. But we have to be an example, a good example. And we grow into being an example, because we do want to lead the industry. Yeah, we want to be the ringleader of the circus of our industry. And that's why you see the big hat, the big top. We have to make sure that we understand our industry, and that's why the homework assignment from Monday was so important. That you understand who your customers are, what problems they have, what your solutions and your revenue opportunities, because you have to understand what's going on in the industry. I love the fact that Jerica came up with all these numbers about the disabled industry and with how many people need jobs and how many people on Social Security. All that information she either got from her experience or she got from research, and you got to know that stuff. You got to know what's going on in your industry in order for you to one day be a leader of it. But you also are learning from the competitors that are there. They've already gone through the stages that you're entering now, so you can learn from them. It's great. Ultimately, your goal is to become the leader of your industry or a big player in your industry. So again, I'm not going to go through all those bullets. You all can read those bullets when I send them out to you, because I don't want to take you too much past 8 o'clock. So ultimately, that is the toolbox. And for Teray and Amaka and who else? Colin. I want you all to, and I'm going to send it out to you all to review the link for the from the class on Monday. So you have time to review that link, because I go over again the other tools as well, right? And you'll hear me talking about the homework assignment, so you can even better explain, be prepared to do your homework on that as well. Okay. All right. So here's a recap. Again, we talked about the toolbox. We went in and talked about the 6 fingers model and why that's important. I highlighted a little bit about the financial 6 fingers. Again, the flat organization, step by step, people make the difference, and the fact that you need to lead the industry. All that is for the business in the future, who you're going to be. Some takeaways from tonight is the importance of focus. We really have to focus on what we're building. We have to focus on what we know. We have to focus on who our customers really are. And we have to focus on what industry information that we can gather. Understand the necessity of your vision. Where you want to go is important, because you have to be making decisions. Keep your mission concise and on message. Let's be as concise and to the point as possible on what you're really trying to achieve in the solutions that you offering to your potential clients. We want to ensure that you and your future team present your values to the customers and what you do and how they experience you in the interactions. What are they when they walk away? What feedback do you want to see when they're doing your feedback survey and it's coming back at you? They come to you. Are you going to be smiling when you read what they say about you? That's what you want. Determine the urgent objectives. Again, that's not going to be your homework, but at some point we need to understand that we need to build what our objectives are. It might be to do a business plan. That might be one of your objectives. It's okay. What are the strategies? Well, I'm going to take this business plan class. What are my actions? Well, I'm going to do the homework. I'm going to do the templates, and I'm going to do everything I need to do to understand how to fill out my business plan. We want you to contemplate proposed strategies as a homework assignment to achieve, not as a homework assignment, but at some point, contemplate proposed strategies to achieve your objectives. Determine individual action plans that support implementable strategies. That's a takeaway. Understand you have a toolbox. These are your unique tools, and we must focus on your tool, right? That's a takeaway. Here's the homework. We are going to have you do your vision statement, leveraging the template. We want you to have a concise mission, be very succinct. And we want you to give 3 to 5 words that represents the values that you want representing your business. So once again, this is a template that you will get. And again, describe why your business exists in 15 words or less. So not necessarily why, but the mission of your business. But ultimately, the mission is going to be saying, here's why we exist. Here's the solution to the problems that our customers have. And again, the last is your values. You don't need to have 5. You can have 4. You can have 3, but no less and no more. All right. So a quick preview. Session 3 that's when we get into the reason why you took this class. How do we effectively put together our business plan? Well, we're going to leverage the executive summary on how we put our plan together. How do we profile the different areas of our business plan? How do we put paragraphs together for the area that need to be covered in our business plan? And when we complete these areas, you'll be able to recite your plan on your business market day on May 5th, that Monday. We're going to start off on Monday with covering your business model, your business concept, and your market need. So here's an example of what the homework is going to be and what the business, those three areas, are going to cover. So as a preview, articulating the executive summary, starting with the model, concept, and bit market need. So ultimately, we're going to ask some questions about this area. We're going to brainstorm some answers to those questions, and we're going to take those answers and it's going to help us formulate our articulation of our business model. Again, more into that later. Same thing with the concept. We're going to ask some pertinent questions relating to what a business concept is. We're going to take the answers to those questions and we're going to put them together and draft out what our business concept or business advantage should look like. None of these are going to be perfect because along the way, you're going to be tweaking your business plan forever because your business is going to change. It's going to be evolved. The last area, again, market need. We're going to come up with some questions pertinent to your market need. We're going to share some examples, answers, and we're going to come up with a paragraph. All of these these areas that we're going to provide examples, we're going to have a fictitious business that we're leveraging. We're going to be building their business plan as an example for you to use for your homework. And it's going to call office leverage. And I'll explain that on Monday. What office leverage is, what their vision is, what their mission is, what their values are. And then we're going to show you how they come up and put together their business plan utilizing this particular strategy. All right, it is 8:09. Hope this was helpful. This is I'm gonna stop the presentation here. Any questions? Any questions? I hope that was helpful. This overview for today. Any questions? I know it's a lot, but put your seatbelt on. This is going to be exciting. And it's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be a different way that you've experienced a business plan class before. And you can feel the passion and feel that, this is the right area for you to be in.
I have one question. This is Callan.
Hey, Callan.
Hey, for homework, should we be typing that up and emailing that to you? Or do
Yes.
you just...
Yeah, you can put in the body of the email. That's fine.
Okay.
However you want to do it. Any other questions?
Yes, I wasn't here yesterday. I'm sorry, Monday, I think it was. There was homework on Monday, right?
Yep. So you will get the presentation and all of the assignment, all the information from Monday. You will get that tonight because I'm once I confirm that I have all of everyone's email that Janice probably already sent me, I'm going to resend that out to all the folks that wasn't here on Monday.
Okay.
In addition to the link to the presentation, so you'll have time to review that presentation. But do not feel rushed. Even if you don't give me the homework on Monday, give it to me on Saturday, on Sunday. But certainly get it done before Monday because I want you all to be not only committed but consistent and as timely as possible, right? Because all of you have a life. You're bringing this new thing into your current busyness, your current work, and we all time challenged. But the goal is, how can I carve some time from what I already got going on to fit this in? Because this is what's going to change your life. So this has to be some type of priority. You got to find that fix, and that's a part of your decision making. You're a CEO. It starts now. Your decision making skill starts right now. And then what is it that you do? I wasn't here Monday, so what is it that you do? So that is, I'm going to mention really briefly, but that is going to be on the link when I give you the link of my class, because I don't want to take up, it's after 8 o'clock, so I don't want to take up too much time. But I do import, export, I do consulting, I do mergers and acquisitions. But you'll hear a detailed explanation on the link. Okay. Any other questions? All right. You all have a wonderful end of your week and a beautiful weekend. And I'll see you all on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And I just
Mhm.
put something in the chat box for everyone to just look out for the email as you all get onboarded to our partners with the Urban League to make sure that you have everything, especially those who are in Cobb County.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all. See you Monday. Thank you, Coach.
Are you welcome? Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.